Every member of Payback explained. Starting us off, we have Swato. Swato is regarded as the most useless and cowardly member of Payback, with his carelessness being the reason that Operation Charlie, which we'll get into in a second, failed. He has retractable insect-like wings and the ability to fly at the top speed of, you guessed it, an insect. There isn't really much to say about this character, other than the fact that on July 12, 1982, Soldier Boy and Swato reportedly assaulted a homeless man in a park. The homeless man wanted to press charges against the two, but then vanished, presumably because Vought killed him. Swato met his end in 1984 when he was blown to smithereens by a Russian surface-to-air missile. R.I.P. Swato. Moving up to C tier, we have Gunpowder. After being injected with Compound V as an infant, Gunpowder grew up to be a teenage soup with dreams of superhero stardom. At the age of 14, he finally got his big break when he was chosen by Vought to be Soldier Boy's sidekick and a member of their new superhero team, Payback. However, confidential documents obtained by Billy Butcher show that August 9th, 1983, Gunpowder went to Vought Human Resources with a confidential complaint alleging a persistent and relentless pattern of Soldier Boy's habitual abuse. Along with the complaint, Gunpowder officially requested to be transferred from Payback to another superhero team. Less than a year later in 1984, Operation Charlie happened. A test run between Vought and the U.S. government to get soups into the military, where Payback were deployed to Nicaragua. Stan Edgar used this opportunity to get rid of Soldier Boy, seeing as they had already created his replacement. Every member of Payback loved this plan and happily followed Black Noir's lead, betraying Soldier Boy and giving him to the Russians. Everyone except for Gunpowder, who was knocked unconscious and never told about the scheme. Because, despite all the cruelty he endured, he still remained loyal to Soldier Boy. Gunpowder went on to be a Second Amendment figurehead, making regular appearances at gun conventions where he encouraged the public to take the law into their own hands. Gunpowder is a master marksman, possessing superhuman accuracy along with super sight and durability. Or at least he was, until Butcher lasered him to death in a parking lot. Next in C tier, we have the TNT Twins. Tommy and Tessa were injected with Compound V as infants, giving them the ability to generate plasma blasts from their hands, but only when they are making physical contact with each other. They have a catchphrase, TNT, detonate, that they say whenever they use their powers. The TNT Twins are original characters created for the show and did not appear in the comics. The pair are known for their proclivities and are regular guests at the annual Herogasm event, which they hosted for its 70th anniversary. This is also where they were killed, along with many others, by Soldier Boy's radioactive blast. Next we have Crimson Countess. During the 1980s, Crimson Countess was one of the biggest stars of Payback, appearing in hit movies year after year and releasing chart-topping songs. For years, she was Soldier Boy's girlfriend, until they jumped him and gave him to the Russians. But hey, that's showbiz, baby. In the modern day, the Countess worked at Vaughtland as an entertainer, singing songs about animal rights and using her powers as a party trick. She also has a side gig where she would do adult live streams on a website specifically for soup performers. She was also one of the soups in consideration to join the Seven after Lamplighter left, but lost out on the position to Starlight. Her powers include superhuman strength, durability, hearing, and the ability to generate explosive fireballs, but only when her hands are making a specific gesture. Crimson Countess is an animal rights activist, being the proud owner of the Crimson Countess's Chimp Country Sanctuary building site. She lived there in a trailer until one day, while on an adult video call with Seth Rogen, she was killed by Soldier Boy on his quest for revenge. Up next, Mindstorm. Mindstorm, or Daniel if you know him personally, is a telepathic schizophrenic turned magician turned schizophrenic. He has the ability to read minds, mind control, and the ability to trap people in an endless stream of nightmares. After Payback disbanded, Mindstorm became a magic performer at the Planet Vought Casino and Resort in Las Vegas. where he starred in his own live stage show called Mental Magic with Mindstorm. Daniel continued this show for years until it was canceled, after he injured a contestant by making him believe that he was a raging bull and waved a red cloth. Eventually, the sensory overload of constantly hearing everyone's thoughts finally caused Mindstorm to have a mental breakdown, and he retreated to a cabin in the woods of Vermont to seclude himself from society. Daniel lived as a paranoid loner within his cabin, only occasionally leaving his forest when he needed to get prescription refills to treat his mental disorders. He seems cool. I really hope this guy gets to... Oh no, rest in peace, Daniel. Moving to A tier, we have Black Noir. Irving, which is the real name of Black Noir, was born in the late 1950s and injected with compound V as As mentioned in my video on the 7, due to his skin color, he was forced to conceal his face in order to make him more marketable. Irving tried to become a star without the mask and was almost cast as the lead role in Beverly Hills Cop, but lost out to Eddie Murphy after Soulja Boy interfered. When Black Noir confronted him about this, Soulja Boy beat him in front of the rest of the team and told them all that he was the only star on Payback and that if anyone else tried to outshine him, he would kill them. When it came time for Payback to attack Soulja Boy, Noir was savagely beaten, leaving him mute, disfigured, and stuck in the mind of a 7-year-old. After Soulja Boy's death, Payback fell through as Vaught's #1 superhero team, breaking up prior to the beginning of the new team, the 7. During this period, Black Noir became something akin to the face of Vaught, and was regarded as the most feared and respected soup in the world. Oh, and killing made him physically erect. And now, all the way up in S tier, we have Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy was America's first superhero and former leader of the superhero team Payback. As a young man in the 40s, Soulja Boy helped good triumph over evil in World War II, turning the tides of the war and aiding in the Allied forces' victory. Just kidding, he was only there for the photo shoots. Benjamin, that is the real name of Soulja Boy, was born in Pennsylvania in 1919. The official backstory of Soulja Boy by Vaught was that he was born poor and learned the values of hard work, tenacity, and bravery while growing up on the streets. But, in reality, Benjamin was born into a very wealthy home, with a judgmental and overbearing father who was a prominent industrial magnate who owned half the steel mills in the state. Benjamin's father was verbally abusive and neglectful throughout his childhood. However, he never physically hit Benjamin because he viewed him as such a massive failure that he did not consider him worth the effort. From a young age, Benjamin would sneak sips of his father's cocktails to try and cope with his mistreatment. His father shipped him off to boarding school as a young boy to get rid of him, and after he flunked out, his father deemed him a disappointment unworthy of carrying his name. In an attempt to make his father proud, Benjamin used his father's contacts to join World War II under a secret U.S. government program where Dr. Frederick Vaught gave Compound V to human test subjects. He was given the name Soulja Boy, but instead of actually fighting in World War II, he was used in propaganda photo shoots. Ben returned home from deployment and received a hero's welcome, with parades being held all across the country in his honor. Despite all that, his father once again expressed his disgust towards his son by calling him a cheater that took a shortcut by using Compound V, which is something a real man would never do. He was also a dick to everyone, and all his teammates hated him. He's also this guy's dad, so runs in the family, I guess. Forget it. We're going to the only real S-tier Payback member, Fab 5 Freddy.
Fab 5 Freddy told me everybody's fly.
Thanks for watching, and every person who subscribes to the channel, I will personally kiss on the mouth.